Okay, so here you're going to check your answers for your unit review. Of course, angles, if it's greater than 90 degrees, it's obtuse. Less than 90, so if it's a small looking angle, it's acute. And if it's exactly, it's a right. Okay, that was all given to you. And then I gave you this, and it says ABD, ABD. This is angle ABD right here. Here, 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 right? It is 90 degrees, or a right angle. BDC, BDC, that's acute, right? DCA, angle DCA, you can look at that and see that that's an obtuse angle. And then angle CAB, CAB is a right angle. It's 90 degrees. Okay, so just understand that you need to know how to, if it gives you an angle, you need to know where to look. You need to know that this middle letter is the vertex, okay, which is the center. So CAB, CAB, the vertex is the A. That means you're looking at this angle right here, okay? All right, what shape was this? You should have put right trapezoid. This was in the notes yesterday that I added for y'all. This was something you were supposed to add, okay, because it only has one pair of parallel lines and right angles. All right, a triangle with 3 acute angles is an acute triangle. If all 3 angles are acute, it's an acute triangle. All right, a triangle with 1 angle that is obtuse. If it's got 1 obtuse angle, it has to be an obtuse triangle. Okay. All right, a triangle with 1 angle that is 90 degrees. Well, if it's 90 degrees, it is a right triangle. If 1 angle is 90 degrees, it's a right triangle. Okay? So, all of them are acute, it's an acute triangle. 1 is obtuse, it's a obtuse triangle. If one of the angles is right, it's a right triangle. All right, supplementary angles means the whole line, the whole angle combined is 180 degrees. So if this is 180 degrees from here to here, and this is 45, we're looking for the missing section. So it's 180 minus 45. That's all you had to do. You had to borrow, because 0 minus 5 doesn't work. It would give you a negative. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 4 is 3. Bring down your 1. So number 1 here should have been 135 degrees. Oops, sorry. Okay. Complementary angles. A complementary angle equals a total of 90 degrees. So it's a right angle with an extra angle cut in the middle. So if this angle is 57 degrees, and of course, I know that's not a right angle. It's okay. If this angle right here is 57 degrees, and the whole thing is 90, you're going to do just like you did here. You should have said 90, which is the total, minus 57, what you already know, and that's how you'll find your second angle. You have to borrow. 10 minus 7 is 3, and 8 minus 5 is also 3, so your answer was 33 degrees. Okay? All right, on the back. A closed plane figure with 3 or more line segments. Line segments. That is a polygon. So let's be clear. That's a circle. There are no line segments. That is not a polygon. Okay? That has 1, 2, 3, 4 line segments, but it is not closed. So it is not a polygon, okay? Polygons are your triangles, your quadrilaterals, anything, hexagons, octagons, all of those, anything that closes, 4 sides, 3 sides, and up, anything that closes completely, okay? All right, 2 pair of parallel sides, 4 congruent sides, which is also 2 pair of congruent sides, and 4 right angles. 4 right angles gave it away. You should have said square. Okay, 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles. You should automatically know that's a square. All right. two pair of parallel sides. Now, when I said two pair of parallel sides, I didn't add because I didn't want to just confuse you, but it also has opposite sides congruent or two pair of congruent sides. Okay, it's a parallelogram. Okay, all right. Two pair of parallel sides. Okay, so that means it's a parallelogram. Two pair of congruent sides. Okay, that means opposite sides are congruent. Four right angles. Okay, this two pair of congruent sides and four right angles, because it doesn't say four congruent sides, that means this one's the rectangle. All right, one pair of parallel lines. So what's the one shape that has one pair of parallel lines? That's your trapezoid. Okay. Parallel, and then, so that's your regular trapezoid. All right. Two pair of parallel sides, and then four congruent sides. So the square has four congruent sides, like this one. And then the square has two pair of parallel sides, but it doesn't say anything about the angles. So what would that one be? That one was your rhombus. Okay. Remember, your rhombus has four congruent sides, just like a square, but it looks like somebody sat on it. It's not good, but you get the point. Okay, it's like a square that has been squished. All right, one pair of parallel sides and two right angles. Well, we did this one on the first page. This was your right trapezoid. All right. Okay, lines that cross at a point, making right angles. Lines that cross at a point, making right angles. This was your perpendicular. That's perpendicular lines, or lines that cross it at a point, making right angles. Okay. Lines that intersect at any point. So it looks like this. Okay, notice they're intersecting, they're crossing each other, but these angles are not right angles. This is just intersecting. Okay, intersecting. Intersecting lines are lines that intersect at any given point. All right, and then lines that run side by side and never cross. So they look like that, just like the railroad tracks. That was parallel. All right. Triangle with three congruent sides has three names. All right. So it has three congruent sides, and I'm not going to draw one perfect, of course. So we're going to pretend. If all three sides are congruent, it is equilateral, right? And then we said that all equilaterals are also acute. And then yesterday in your notes, I had you write something else, and I said that if it's equilateral, it's acute, but it's also isosceles. Okay? It's equilateral, acute, and isosceles. All right? So an equilateral triangle has three congruent sides, so it is an equilateral. Because it's equilateral, it also has three acute angles, so it's an acute triangle. And then because it has three congruent sides, it means it also, obviously, two of them are at least congruent, so it's also called isosceles. Okay, a triangle with only two sides congruent is just called isosceles. All right, so that means it might look like this. Okay, so there's a difference between all sides equal and only two sides equal. Okay, if all sides are equal, it's equilateral and isosceles. If only two sides are equal, it's just isosceles. Okay, and then the triangle with no sides congruent is called scalene. Okay. all three sides are different. It would be scaling. Okay? All right. And finally, the hierarchy. So we know that everything, all quadrilaterals are polygons. Okay, so polygons, quadrilaterals. Then you've got this over here, it's got lots of shapes, and you've got this one over here by itself. The one by itself is the one that is the trapezoid. Okay, this one should have been parallelogram. Okay, these two go either spot, right? Because they're both going to come down to the number 5. So you could put rectangle here and rhombus here. Right? And then they all go to the square. So remember, when we read this, we read it going up. Okay, so a square is a rectangle, a rhombus, a parallelogram, quadrilateral, polygon. And remember, we also said it could be a kite, but I'm not putting it in here. A rectangle is a rectangle, parallelogram, quadrilateral, polygon. A rhombus is a rhombus, parallelogram, quadrilateral, polygon. A parallelogram is a parallelogram, quadrilateral, polygon. A trapezoid is a trapezoid, quadrilateral, polygon. Okay, remember that flow. All right, and then we have the Venn diagram. So I'm going to tell you first that number 1 is going to be a quadrilateral. Okay, so everything inside of this box is a quadrilateral, which means has 4 lines, right? But when you look inside this circle, because this is the big circle, everything inside of it falls in this category, right? So this circle is also going to be a number 2. This circle is also going to be a number 2. This number 5 is going to be a 3, a 4, and a 2. So think about that when you did your hierarchy. So if this whole thing is quadrilaterals, what comes next? That means all of these inside of this circle, oval, are parallelograms, right? Okay, and then this circle is independent. This circle is independent. And then here is where they share, right? Remember, on a Venn diagram, what's in the middle, the overlap, is what they share. So you can put rhombus and rectangle. Or you could have said rectangle, rhombus. Okay, they flip. It doesn't matter. And then number 5 would be your square. Okay, you just need to know how to look at this Venn diagram and make sure that you can fill one out. Okay? All right. And that's your study guide. So hopefully you put all your, corrected any that you missed. Made sure you understand. Study tonight. Okay? You'll have your unit test tomorrow, 224. Okay? So be prepared. Study it all tonight. Okay?